Hey there, boys and girls. How's it going? Darksabre here. So today we're going to be diving into something that I actually get asked quite a bit. I've been doing this whole VTuber V-streaming thing for quite some time now, and you wouldn't believe how often I have friends come to me and they're like, "Yo, how do I get set up for all this? How do I jump into this VTubing scene?" A lot of my friends, well, I started out in the VRChat community, and I guess technically I still am in large part of that community. And so I have a lot of friends coming over, and if you're not familiar with VRChat, definitely go check it out. It's a free game on Steam. You don't have to have VR. You can play in desktop mode, and it's well worth checking out. But anyway, it has a lot of models basically involved in it, and so a lot of people that play it already have personalized models, and so they'll be like, I've already got this model. How do I get this and make it my streaming character? How do I become, a V streamer, VTuber, etc.? And so I thought, you know what? I'll just do a video. It might make it easier. That way I can give it out to friends and people that have questions, and then if nothing else, it'll help me kind of cut through the main topics, and then I can go from there. So that's what we're going to do today, guys. We're going to go through this system, and it's really not that complicated. It's just a matter of getting it down to muscle memory, and you can go through it and create a new model in like no time flat. I'm sorry, create a new model for your stream. Now, I am going to assume in this little tutorial that you already have a model in Unity for VRChat. So, if you need to look up how to create a model, that's a whole another bag of worms. You're you're going to have to find another video for that, because that's quite the process. But now, if you have a model for VRChat, for example, an FBX model in Unity, then this is the video for you. So, to kick things off, let's open Unity. So here we have Unity. The current version of Unity for VRChat anyway is 2018.4.20 F1. Here we have my model, in my standard casual outfit. This is 100% ready to go model for VRChat. Like I could go up to VRChat SDK and upload that right now, and it would be fine. So yeah, here's our base. This is what you need to start with. You need a model. It needs to be all set up, good to go. All right, so the first thing we need to do, once you've got your project open, we need to open and import Uni Vrn. So you might be saying, where do I get Uni Vrn? This is where. Just run over to GitHub. I'll put this address in the description below, and this is where you'll find Uni Vrn. You'll need to download this, and that will download, I believe, as a zip file, and you just need to open that zip file and get the Unity package out, because we're going to need that in the next step. And that step is this. We need to import that into the project. So I'm assuming if you're working with models, you already know this, but to import a project, or import a Unity package rather, go up here and click on Assets, go down to Import Package, click Custom Package. That'll give you your window here, and then you'll just need to go to where you have it saved. So like, for example, your Downloads folder is where mine is, and there's Uni VRM right there. So you'll click Open, that'll give you a little window. Obviously I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it again. Just have everything selected, click OK, that'll import it all, and you'll know it's successful because you'll get this little VRM tab here at the top. All right, so once you've got that, make sure you have your model selected, your FBX model. Go up to VRM, go down to Uni VRM, and it'll have the version number. I think there's a newer one out. This one's 0.55. I think it's like 0.57 or 5.8, whatever the new one is that you get. Go over to Export Humanoid, click. Now here you do have to put an author, so just type name. It's going to put a bunch of stuff there. Click Export. Now the very first time you export it, you will want to save it somewhere in your current project. So for example, here's my current project. Now when you import the Uni VRM, it will automatically create a VRM folder within your project. So what I like to do is go into that folder, then make a folder called models. And then for each model that I do, I just make a separate folder. So like for this one, it was casual because it's like the casual outfit. So I go to casual, and then you would click save. Now, since yours is new, you won't have these files. It'll just be a blank folder. When you click save, it's going to start exporting that model, and it's going to create these folders right here. And you can see here, like there's the VRM, there's the casual, and these are all the files it created, except for this picture. I put that in there. So basically all these folders and these two files. All right. Now this is your actual VRM file for your model. So what you want to do is the very first thing, drag that up into your hierarchy and drop it. And you see it brought it up here for us. So let's go ahead and disable our original model so we don't see it anymore. So we just click that and click back on our VRM. So this is our VRM model. Now, if you drop yours in there, you're gonna notice it's gonna look pretty dull, and that's because by default, your materials are all gonna be set to the standard shader, which, I mean, let's face it, none of us like the standard shader. It's really dull and boring. So what you'll need to do is come down here to your materials folder, open that up. Here should be your materials, and you'll need to click on each one of these and select a shader for it. Now, VRM is very limiting on what shaders you can use. To my knowledge, at least by default, there's only 3 choices. You have standard, and you have M-Tune, and unlit. Now you see that there's I go up here to the shader drop down to VRM. These and standard, as far as I know, are the only default choices that you have. Now there may be some others out there that you have to like download separately and import them and they'll work. I'm not positive. But most people tend to go for this anime toony look, and you can definitely get that with these. I went with unlit on this one. I think my most recent ones I've been going M-Tune because it gives you a little more options to work with. But that's all personal preference. So just go through. You'll need to select the shaders that you want, and to get everything looking correct. Once you've got that, go back to your model here. Okay, so here we've got all kinds of different options and things to look at. Now, I'll be honest with you, most of these you can completely ignore. Unless you plan to distribute your VRM file, you don't really have to pay attention to hardly any of these. But if you want to look through here, I mean, basically it's just giving you some options you can select to basically tell other people how to use your file. So again, it's mainly for distribution type stuff. Now here you do have a thumbnail. You can basically put any picture in your project and then just click the little circle here and use this to select your picture, and that'll set the thumbnail. It's not necessary. Basically what that does is when you go into Luppet, it will give you a thumbnail preview. So I mean, that part I guess is nice, but again, it's not actually necessary. It's completely up to you if you want to set one or not. The part here that we really got to look at is we got to come down here to blend shapes and double click that. Now this is a must. I mean, this is important. If you want your model's mouth to move, you set all that here. You can also set your expressions and your blinking here. If you skip this step, I mean, you won't have any of that. So very important. So here you see our different options. Neutral, you just leave alone because that's like your base face basically. Now A, I, U, E, O, these are your voicings, like your mouth movement. Basically, when you speak into your mic and you make the A sound, whatever you select under A is going to be applied to your avatar. So what we need to do is we need to set each of these. So I go to A, come down to body, select that to expand it. Now here's where I need to select the shape for the A sound. Now if your model is already set for VRChat, you probably have these VRC.V, etc. here. Now these are basically voice voicings that are already done for you. So you could just here's the A, just slot it all the way up to 100, boom, you're done. Now you notice mine's not. That's because I went down and did the aw sound, or the aw blend shape, which is basically what VRChat uses for your A, so it's the same thing really. But so like if we come over to the eye, you notice I did the VRC.B_IH for eye. Now technically you could set these to anything. I mean, you could go crazy and set them to weird stuff, but you know, basically just select the val that is already there or something close and you're good to go. Now the blink, I mean, basically the same. This is going to determine when you blink what your character does. So we go to body, we scroll down, find your blink blend shape, turn that up to 100. Now, blink L and blink R is basically like your left eye blink, your right eye blink. Now, personally, I set these to just the normal full blink. So like you notice here, scroll down, blink all the way up. Now the reason I did that, you can go in and set just your one eye to blink if you have those blend shapes. So if my left eye closes, it will close the left eye of my avatar. I'd go ahead and do the full blink because I feel like it makes you look less derpy. If you have one eye closed and one eye open and one eye is half closed and one eye is full open, like it just makes you look a little weird sometimes. So personally, I like to just have them full blink. But again, you can, you know, check whatever you want to here. Look up, look down, look left, look right. So I don't put anything on these. Now, what they do in theory is if I look to, like, you know, the side over here, and I have something there that says, okay, when I look to the left or whatever, you know, make my character stick her tongue out. So like if I did that, it would activate and the character would stick her tongue out. So I mean, if you want to do something like that, you're welcome to. Again, you do it the exact same way. I'd usually leave those just blanks. I don't mess with them. Now, VRM or in Luppet gives you 4 expression slots for you to play with, and the Uni Vrn system here labels them joy, angry, sorrow, and fun. Now, that's to kind of give you an example or a template. You don't have to use those expressions per se, but this is where you set them up. So like for example, my joy I set as a happy face, like happy eyes, kind of a smile, got like the rosy cheeks and whatnot going, and that's my happy face. For angry, I went with like a pissed off, like annoyed look. Sorrow, I didn't really like a good sad face that I had, so I went with more of a shocked, surprised expression. And then fun, I went with a lewd face, you know, reasons. But anyway, so to set those, just like the others, you click it, you click your body, and you play with your sliders here to create the face that you want. Now, a lot of my emotes are already packed into like one blend shape, so I just turn the whole thing on and there it is, boom. But like if I go to this one, I had to kind of create this one. Now I only used 2 blend shapes. I used surprised and I used pupil. But I mean, you could turn, you know, 10 of these on if you wanted to create the perfect face, you know, whatever you're going for. So you just, I mean, that's really trial and error, personal preference. You just, you know, got to play around with it and create whatever faces you want, and then you're good. So once you're done with that, there's really only one more thing you have to do before you're ready to export and actually use your file, and that is create your movement, like your dynamic bones. So you see when I move, like my hair kind of flows, the bangs move, the ears move, you know, the chest moves around, wink wink. All of that's controlled by dynamic bones, or what they actually call spring bones for VRM models. Now you get through your spring bone by clicking the secondary option underneath of your model. And you see it puts one here, a blank one for you to kind of start playing with. Now I'm not going to go into like super detail on this. If you've got a model for VRChat, you probably are well aware of dynamic bones. It's pretty common, and you know how much movement people like is a very personal thing. So like you just got to play around with it. But I will show you. I've already got a VRM file. Like this one's already set up. This is quite literally the model that you're looking at right now. These are the dynamic bones and settings that I have set up for it. You can see for the most part I've got everything set to a 0.5 stiffness, except for the ears because I wanted them a little more stiff because they were a little too floppy otherwise. But you can create additional spring bones by hitting add component, type in spring, click spring bone. So you can have multiple of those if you want different settings for different parts of the body. Again, I'm not going to go super in detail there, but you basically just click and drag the parts over. So like tail, I would click that and drag it over and drop it there, and there's the tail. And so you could just do that for the parts that you want to move and then play with the settings. Once you've got your settings all done, you just click on your model, go up to the VRM just like we did the first time, go down, go to export. This should be already set, so just go export. Now this time you're going to put it somewhere else, so like maybe the desktop, for example, or your downloads folder, or your documents folder, wherever you want to download this VRM file. So I would usually just choose the desktop, click save. I'm not going to do it because I've already got one there. And that's instead of where it made all these extra files the first time, it only does this if you saved your project. If you export outside your project, it gives you just the VRM file. So let me minimize this, and then let me unhide this that I had hidden behind my avatar. So this is basically like the VRM file that you should get. This is just called like Darksabre Casual Blink Fix VRM because I had a blinking problem the first time. So with this, we're now ready to launch Luppet. Now I am going to focus mainly on Luppet for this tutorial, and then I'll talk a little bit about Suva just at the end too. Now for Luppet, you need to go grab it, and you can go here, luppet.appspot.com, and I'll put that address in the description below. Luppet is, I don't know, it seems to be pretty popular. There is a free version that you can buy, or well, you can download to test it. But if you choose to use it, you do have to buy a license. It's 5,000 yen, which I think is like $50 US, so give or take, to unlock it so you can really stream with it. But there is a free version you can do all of this with to test to make sure it's going to run right for you and that you like it. So I definitely advise getting that. So let me move that and let's show Luppet. Alright, so let me pull this over. And yeah, so here we go. So here is Luppet. When you first log into Luppet, you're going to see something like this. Like right after you log in, you're basically going to see this. You're going to have your characters, your models on the left, and obviously you pick the model you want. So I'm going to go like Darksabre Casual. Oh, actually, I guess I should tell you first how to get the model. So now that you got your file, when you first log in, there's like a sample model that they include, which I think I deleted. But you'll have one sample model. Just click Open File Folder. Open on the other screen, and you're going to get, basically it's going to open up to the file folder where you need to put your file, which will be in your Luppet folder under Luppet data and then streaming assets. All you do is you take that VRM file, drag and drop it in there. Like I've already got one in, so I'm not going to drop it, but you just drop it in there. And then I think you do have to restart Luppet for it to show here in the list. But the next time you log in, you'll see your model. You just click it. Select your camera. So like I've got a C922 Pro Stream webcam. It'll show you some stats here. By the way, that's you notice the picture there, that's from the thumbnail. So if you want a picture, you gotta put something there. Otherwise, I think it gives you like a little generic thing. You'll see a preview. You do want to click expression keys, at least the first time, and set these up. Remember those 4 expressions we set? Here they are. So you can tell it which key to use. I just use the number pad. Of course, it's got the default names, but that doesn't really matter. It's whatever you set to it. But here you've got basically whether or not the key is toggle or hold, and you can see the descriptions over here. This little symbol basically tells whether or not your character can blink while you're in that expression. So like my happy face with the eyes shut, I don't want it to blink because it would look weird, right? So if I'm holding that key down, I don't want it to blink. The mouth is basically if you want its mouth to move while you're holding that expression. So those are all personal choice, and here's the description. You just choose which one you want. When you're ready, you do start, and it'll load. Now, I'm not going to go through every setting here, but what you see here is basically what you'll see with the free version. As far as I know, the only real difference between the free version and the paid version is literally this. That right there. Being able to like expand your little corner picture to what you would need for your stream overlay, so that you can then like add this to your stream as a game source and then put a chroma key to knock out the green and make it transparent. The license basically unlocks that feature from my understanding. Now you got obviously a lot of settings over here: brightness, lighting, webcam, leap motion. Leap motion is what gives you hand tracking, which I'll talk a little bit about later. Lip sync, obviously you need to select the right microphone, which strangely that's not, but there we go. And then hitting your escape key toggles between there, and you can of course use your mouse to kind of like zoom in, zoom out, tilt, roll, all of this stuff. And yeah, so there you go. You're good to go. I mean, that's it at this point. Like I said, you add it to your stream and off you go. So let me move that back over and let's just wrap it up a little. So I use two different softwares. This one mainly focused on Luppet. I've also used Suva, which is Show Your Virtual Avatar. And I'll just quickly list, a lot of people ask me about this, so I'll list kind of the differences. Luppet uses your webcam. It has relatively good tracking. It is a little more expensive on the software side, costing about $50. But it's super comfortable and easy to use because, I mean, all you do is literally sit down at your computer in front of a webcam. Is a little limited on expressions. I really wish there was more than 4, but I don't think that's an issue that Luppet has. I think that's a VRM thing, but I'm not sure. Now Suva, on the other hand, uses Steam VR, your VR system, and VR trackers instead of a camera. Now it has much better tracking, in my opinion. It has much more expressions. Like I think you can put like 9 or 10, basically whatever you can use in VRChat, plus like a couple extra, I think. And so it's really nice in that way. To me, and also Suva is only like $10 or $15 for the software, so it's just a little bit cheaper there. Now, it's only cheaper though if you already have the Vive trackers for full body tracking, because you need those to track your hands. Generally setting up, you have a tracker on your head and one on each arm. So you obviously have to have those. Now, if you don't have those, then obviously it's not cheaper because they're like $100 each. But if you already have those from VRChat and you're coming from VRChat, then you know, it might be a viable option. Now, what I don't like about Suva is the comfort level. Like, obviously, sitting down, strapping up with all that stuff is not the most comfortable. The batteries, you know, or I'm sorry, the trackers, they can get warm. They run out of battery after like 3 or 4 hours. So if you're someone that streams long, then that's an issue. So there's pros and cons to both. But lately I've been having a lot of fun with Luppet just because I don't have to put on the trackers and it's just so much easier to set down and go. And yeah, so it's one of those things everyone just kind of has to make their own personal choice. I said I'd touch up on leap motion. Oh, that's the other downside to Luppet too. Natively, it does not have hand tracking. Like right now, you know, it doesn't have my hands at all. You can buy Leap Motion, which is like a $80-$90 device that will incorporate and give you hand tracking. And it's decent from what I've seen. I actually just got my own like 2 days ago, but I haven't been able to get it set up yet because I'm waiting on a mount, because you have to like wear it on your chest, neck, and you can use these little clips you can 3D print, and I've got someone doing that for me. I just haven't got it yet to really play around with it. So maybe I'll do a video on that as well. But that is another feature, so you can get it, but it does require another device. Just letting you know. All right, well, I think that about sums it all up. So I'm hoping this really will help you guys out with some questions. My DMs are definitely always open, and I'm more than willing to answer like anything that you guys have. You can also drop questions down below if you have something, and I'll try to help you out as best I can. Discord is always the best way to reach me. You can also find me on Twitter. You should be able to find all my details on my YouTube page. If not, jump over to Twitch, Twitch/Darksabre, and you can definitely find it there in the panels. And hopefully that will help you guys out. Let me know if it did. Hit that like button if it did, and feel free to subscribe. I'm not on here as much as I'd like, but we'll see. I've got a lot of things planned. It's just a matter of getting everything together and getting things sorted. But hopefully you guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all next time.